Yeah, I think we have discussed mathematics and trigonometric. I think today we have to focus on relationships.
No, in the mathematic functions, we need to discuss how the error function will works, right?
Yes, yes, yesterday, yes. Error function you haven't explained, yes.
Not this one here, other functions. Okay, in error function, how we can implement, let's see. Suppose, for example, okay, if I'm selecting France, I want that means it will throws an error. Okay. Other than that, if I'm selecting any value, whatever the selected value I'm selecting, that value I need to display it. This is what my agenda. Okay. That means so for one time it will returns only one value, right? So that's the reason I'm creating a measure for this one. See here. Okay, and error function. Okay, in error function. So first of all, whatever in the this is a slicer visual. In this slicer visual, whatever value I am selected, that value if I want to pick it means then you have to use a function called selected value. What is that? Selected value. Okay, so in selected value, whatever value you are selected, that means in this slicer, whatever value you are selected, that value, if you want to pick it means, then we have to use a function called selected value. See here, selected value of what is the column, what is in which column values I'm selecting, country column, right? That you have to see here. So these are the country values, right? That's the reason I'm just passing that column name. Okay, whatever column I'm passing, in that, in if I'm selecting any value into that particular column, that value it will pick it. Understand? Suppose for example, up to now you didn't see the variables, right? Did you go through the did you know about the variables, Swagat?
Variables as in Vijay.
Yeah, see, variable is nothing but if you want to store any function output, okay,
Uh-huh.
function output, okay, we can store it in the variable. Because see, in a measure or in a calculated column, we cannot not only writing a single function in a particular one, we can write multiple functions. Okay, if you want to write multiple functions in a measure or a calculated column, so you must and should you have to use a variable. Okay, so what is a variable means? Variable is nothing but a runtime execution is called as a variable. Runtime execution is called as a variable. Okay, So in this variables,
అంటే విజయ్ ఇప్పుడు విఏఆర్ అని రాశారు, అది వేరియబుల్ అనా?
yeah, I will tell you. Okay, so you see, because in calculated column or in the measure, you can write multiple functions. At the time of writing multiple functions, one function output, if you want to store it in, and that value, if you want to call it in another function, means must and should you have to use variables. So if you want to write a variable, means how can I write it? Means var. Must and should you have to write var space whatever variable name you want, you can write it. Suppose xyz, okay, or pq or something like that. Okay, and better to write with a short name of the variable name. Okay, don't write a big name. Like Swagat also, you can write the name of the variable. Anything you can write it. Okay, first you have to write a var space, and after that variable name you have to write it. That variable name, anything. Okay, either it is anything, you can write it. Okay, but every time you have to write the variable name with a short name itself, like v1 v2 x y z, like that. Okay, with a simple, because those names we need to call it in another functionality. That's the reason we have to write very short. Understand? Okay, so where v1 is equal to selected value is equal to, after is equal to, you can write a function. Okay, so in this function, what is this function, we can call it as selected value. What selected value will do? That means if you select any value in the slicer visual, okay, this is a slicer visual. If you select any value, whatever value you are selected, that value it will pick it. That value it will pick it. That it is called as selected value. Okay, that it is called as selected value. Okay, so in selected value, just you need to pass the column name, financial country column. Okay, if I'm passing the column name here, then what will happen? In this selected value, whichever column we are passing, in that column, okay, in that column, so whatever value we are selected, that value it will pick it, and it is stored in the variable v1. Understand clearly or not, Swagat? Like this, you can write n number of variables. Like suppose, for example, here another variable I'm writing, okay, and v2. Here I'm writing a if condition here. That means after is equal to whatever DAX function, if you want to use it, you can use it. Okay, and suppose for example, okay, suppose for example, in if, okay, in v1, if v1 is equal to, okay, because the values in selected value, what selected value will do, whatever value we are selected in the country column, that value it will pick it, and it will store it in the v1. Okay, that means if v1 is equal to France, if it is France, then I want to throw an error, raise an error function. Okay, if it is a France, okay, suppose if it is v1 is equal to France, then error function I will run. Ts error, or else. So whenever it is France, I want to raise an error with error function. If I'm not selecting France, okay, if I'm selecting another other than France, then what value it will happen? Whatever value I'm selecting, that value I need to show. Then where that value will be there? In v1 only, right? Understand or not? Swagat, is it clear? Is it clear what I am writing here?
Yes, Vijay.
See, if V1 is equal to France means, that means if I'm selecting France means, then immediately this error function will rise
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Okay. If other than France, if I'm selecting, then whatever value I'm selected, that value I need to show. What value I need to select it, where it is stored in V1 only, right? That's the reason, comma V1 I'm writing here.
ఓకే అంటే
Okay.
కాలమ్ నేమ్ కూడా రాసుకోవచ్చు అక్కడ V1 బదులు.
This is a measure, right? You cannot write the column name.
అచ్చా.
If it is a in calculated column, even in calculated column, if you want, you can write it in a column also. Okay.
ఓకే.
Understand? Because in measure
అంటే
always returns a measure always accepts a single value only, right? That's the
yes.
reason we cannot pass the column name here, right?
ఓకే. ఓకే. ఓకే.
Okay. If you write all the variables in the calculated column means you can write it, man.
ఓకే.
Understand what I'm saying?
Yes, Vijay.
Written. So where is the final output will be there? In V1 or V2?
V2.
That you have to. If I'm giving like V1, what will happen? V1, what value it is stored in the V1, that value it will shows. Okay. So you can write any variable. If you want to show that variable value means you have to write must and should, you have to write a return. Okay. Return space that variable name. Okay. So either V1 you can write it, either V2 you can write it. It depends upon your situation. Okay. If you want to see in V1 what values are stored, in V2 what values are stored, if you want to debugging the thing, then you have to in return either V1 or V2. But most of the times where the final output is stored, in which variable it is stored, that variable only you have to call. Okay. V1, V2. Vijay, I have a doubt here. Can we write multiple variables once at, can we return multiple variables once at a time? Is it possible? No, it is not possible. That means V1 comma V2, that it is not possible. Oh, in the return, only one variable only we can write it. Understand clearly or not? Okay, let's see. If it is Canada, see here, if I'm selecting Canada, Canada value it will. If I'm selecting France, see immediately it will throw an error. This is an error function. Okay. When you click on see detail in the error function, what it is showing, the same thing it is showing. See here. In the error function, what I am writing here, it is an error, right? The same message I'm here itself it is showing. See here, it is error like this. Understand clearly. If I'm selecting Germany, what values it will show, Ravi?
Germany.
Yes. See, that means whatever value I'm selecting, that value it will return. If I'm selecting France, for France only, it will throw an error like this. Understand what error function will return? Okay, that means so this error function in real time we didn't use it, but you have to know how this function will works. So what will happen is in error function, okay, in error function will throw an error. Okay, if you want to throw your own error means then you have to use error function, but in real time we didn't use this function at all. Okay, this is about other functions. Okay, let's see the category. Okay, in other function only we have to use blank. Okay, not other functions. Okay, next one is relationship functions. What is that? Next one is relationship function. In this relationship function, you will see cross filter direction, related table, and user relationship function. Okay, that means see here. Uh, so cross filter direction, this function is not required because the same option is available at the time of discussing about the model. Okay, when we are discussing about the model, when we are providing a relationship between the data set, the cross filter direction option is there, single and both. Directly you can use it. Okay, no need to use a function and apply that one. Understand clearly? Okay, no need to use that one. Understand? So you have to use directly, you have to apply the direct option there itself. I will tell you what is cross filter direction in the model. Okay, next one is related function. This is very important function. Okay, so if you want to get the column from another data set, suppose if you want to get the column from another data set, then in DAX function, there are two functions are there. One is related, another one is lookup value. There are two functions are there. Okay, so if you want to get the column from another data set, then there are two functions are there. Okay, those functions are a related function, another function is lookup value. Okay, so before going to apply this one, okay, so I have one question here. So in transform data, if I want to get the column from another data set, what option we have to use it? Swagat.
Yes, Vijay.
If you want to get the column from another data set, what option we have to use it in transform data?
Transform.
Ravi?
Yeah.
Okay, Vijay, is it only one single column or the complete data set?
See, anything, okay. If you want to get the column from another data set, what option we have to use it?
Okay.
Either column or a data set, whatever it may be. If I want to get it means, what option we have to use it in transform data?
By using data source.
Ravi, you?
Yeah, it is a data source only.
You understand my question or not, Ravi?
Yes, Vijay. Get data and the
If you
get
want to
data
get the column from another data set, what option we have to use it in transform data? We have to use an option.
news news source.
We have to use an option called merge queries. Merge queries is nothing but to get the column from another data set, right? So in DAX function also similar functions are there. What are those functions means? Related and lookup value. Related and lookup value. Okay. There are some rules will be there in between this. In related, okay, in between the data set, relationship is required. Relationship is required in between data data sets. Relationship is required in between data sets. Okay. Next one is okay, and if the related function rules, okay, if these rules are satisfied, then only related function will work. Okay, related function is required. Related function is required. Sorry, relationship is required between the data set is the first rule. Another rule is okay, cardinality must and should be in one to many, many to one, comma, many to many. Okay, if the cardinality, so no. Sorry, comma, 1 to 1. Okay, so I will tell you what is the cardinality and everything. Okay, first rule is relationship must and should require between a data sets. Okay, so whenever the relationship is there, then only related function will work. Okay, and after providing a relationship between the data set, another rule is there is a cardinality option is there. In that cardinality, either if it is one to many or many to one or one to one, if it is there, if these three is there, then only the related function will work. Understand? The cardinality, if the cardinality is there in one to many or many to one or one to one relationship, also the related function. That means if the related function, if related function works, means first of all these two statements must and should be satisfied. Okay, these statements must and should be satisfied. Next one is lookup value. Okay, what is lookup value will do? Means lookup is also getting a column from another data set. Related and lookup values both functions are getting a column from another data set. If the related function works, means these are the rules. If it is lookup value function, if it works, means see there is a rule. See, may or may not required relationship between the data sets. Okay, may or may not require a relationship between the data sets. Understand clearly? Okay. May or may not require a relationship between the data sets. Okay, so this is how it will works. Okay, so let's see practically how these functions will work. Okay, first of all, what is that first function? Related function. Okay, in the related function, what is the first condition? Relationship is required between the data sets. Okay, so first of all, we need to choose. So here, see here. So in this particular financial, in this particular distinct table, okay, you will have, okay, what is the distinct here? I think it is in different one. See here, while we are providing a relationship between many to one, what is the relationship is there or not? Yes, relationship is there. While we are providing a relationship between many one and distinct table, what is the relation? First of all, relationship is there. Okay. After that, See here, and here some modifications are required. Okay, relationship is active, not relationship. Active relationship is required in between the data set. Active relationship is required. Okay, that means see, whenever a thick line is there, right, this thick line we can call it as active relationship. If it is a dotted line, then inactive relationship. Understand? If it is a dotted line, inactive relationship. If it is a thick line, then active relationship. Okay, so in between the data set, if the relationship is there as a thick line is there, then it is active. If it is a dotted line means it is inactive. Understand? So what will happen is, so must and should, if the related function works means first the relationship must and should be active relationship, only it will works. Okay, so now the relationship is active. And the cardinality, what is the cardinality? That means if you double click on the line, what is the cardinality, how this will works and everything at the time of discussing more, discussing about the model, these everything you will understand it. Okay, so in the cardinality, see here, what we need to choose, what type of cardinality we need to choose, one to many or many to one or one to one. See here, the cardinality is many to one. That means it will satisfy. Okay, so in between these two data set, we can apply the related function. Okay, suppose for example, in many now in new column only we can apply it, right? In new column only related function we can apply it, not in the new method. Okay, see what column we need to mention, that column name you have to call it here. What is that column? What that means, what I want to do is, see here, that means the indistinct one column, indistinct one data set, whatever the column is there, that I want to get it into many one table, many one data set. Okay, I want to get this ID column into many one data set. So that's the reason in related function. Okay, in related function, what you need to do, which data set column you want to get it, which data set column, what is that, what is the data set column, which data set column you want it, huh?
Distinct column.
Yeah, distinct, in distinct one data set ID column we want to get it, right? So you have to call that one only, distinct one of ID. See those values it will get it. How it will be get it means these rules are satisfied in that particular related. Okay, active relationship is required in between the data set, and cardinality must and should be in one to many or many to one or one to one. In these three only we can implement, right? So that's the reason in these three only that it will be there. That's the reason we can implement related function. Understand or not? In related function, what I need to do is, in many one data set, I want to get the distinct one data set column here itself. That's the reason here itself I'm applying in a new column related of distinct one column I'm calling, that's it. Okay, understand? Vijay, can we call multiple columns in the related function? No. At a time, only one column only we can. If you want to get another, again, one more column means again you have to write another related function. That's it. Is it clear or not?
That's clear.
Next. Okay, see here, now the related function will works, right? Similar, like what is the other function is there? Lookup value. See here, what is lookup value will do? Means, so in lookup value, so may or may not require a relationship. Suppose for example, if the relationship is there, the at that time also it will work. If the relationship is not there also it will work. Let's see both ways. Okay, in both ways. So in between, so again, I by using lookup value also, I want to get the distinct one column. I need to get it here itself by using lookup value function. So in between the data set relationship is there or not? So whatever column name you want to get it means that column name. First you have to write the column name. What column I want it? Distinct one ID column. Okay. After that, in between that relationship is there or not? See here, when you go to the here, when you go here, the relationship is happening or not in between the data set. With what column the relationship will happen? Those columns you need to pass it in the lookup value. See here, what column? What are the common columns here? ID and ID. Those columns you need to pass it. See here. So if you want to get this column, okay, get this column means what are the common columns in between the data set? Those common columns you have to write it here itself. Okay, suppose district ID, comma, many one ID column. That's it. Okay, that means so in lookup value the syntax is little bit different. Like that means first you have to mention like what column you want to get it. From which data set you want to get the column, that data set column you have to write it first, comma. After that, what is the common column between the data sets? While you are providing a relationship with the common columns only, you are providing a relationship, right? What common columns are there? Those common columns you need to mention it here. Okay, so in between these data sets, I'm providing a relationship. Okay, I'm providing a relationship with what common columns? See, ID and ID column. See here, ID and ID common columns I'm taking. With this ID and ID common column, you have to mention in the lookup value. So distinct of in the distinct one, ID is the common column I'm taking. Many one I'm taking ID common column I'm taking. Okay. So Vijay, and here one doubt will be there. What is the doubt means? First you have to mention a distinct one ID column, right? Instead of distinct one ID column, can I mention first common column as many one ID column? Can I do like that? No, you cannot mention. That means, so here in which data set you are taking a column, okay? In the data set common column only, first you have to mention it here. Okay, so I'm mentioning a distinct one common column, this distinct one column only I'm taking, right? That distinct one common column, whatever it is there, that you have to mention it first. After that, then another data set common column, you have to mention it. Is it clear, Swagat?
కొంచెం కన్ఫ్యూజింగ్ గానే ఉంది సార్.
So while we are providing a relationship, right? See, what I need to get is I want to get the distinct one ID column into many one data set. Okay, this is what my target is. Okay, so for that in lookup, what column you want to get it? The first you have to write the column name. Understand clearly or not? Swagat, are you there? Or?
Yes, Vijay, yes.
So whatever column, which column you wanted, that column name first you have to write it. Okay, what column you wanted, that column name you have to write it, comma. After that, okay, you have to mention the common columns between the data sets. In between the data set, you are providing a relationship, right? With what common columns you are providing a relationship? Here, ID and ID column you are providing. With ID and ID column, you are providing a relationship, right? Those common columns you have to mention it here itself. Understand now or not? Swagat.
Yes, Vijay. అంటే ఇప్పుడు డిస్టింక్ట్ వన్ ఐడి అని ఇచ్చారు. ఈ మినీ
So let me more clarity, because the same column I'm mentioning here and here, right? Let it be, you are confusing, but instead of that one, is there any other column? Okay, from dim location to location city is there. Okay, and this is also satisfied, right? Okay, the relationship is active relationship is there, and it is the cardinality is many to one is there. Then I want to get the dim location column, suppose location key. Okay, let's see how it will work. See here, so in dim location city dataset, okay, in dim location city dataset, I want to get the location key column into dim location city. Okay, understand? This location key column I want to get it into dim location city. This is what my target is. So for that, where is the dim location city is there? First you have to select the data set, dim location city. In this, click on new column. In this new column, okay, you have to apply what function it is, lookup value. Okay, in lookup value, what is the function? Lookup value function. In that, what column you want to get it?
Can you just go there? I'll just.
What column you want to get it?
Country.
Swagat, while at the time of explaining, please listen carefully here. See, I want to get this location key column into dim location city. Okay, so if I want to get it, means in that, which column I want to get it? So that's the reason in dim location city table, I want to get the dim location key. Okay, whatever the dim location key, in dim location key where it is there, in dim location table, location key column is there. Okay, this column I want to get it into dim location city. Okay, then how can I get it? Means, okay, in this I'm writing in dim location city, I'm writing in lookup value. In this, what column I need to get it? Location key, right? See here, dim location key I want to get it, so you have to select that column, comma. What is the common column between the data set? Okay, in between the data set you are providing a relationship, right? What is the with what column you are providing a relationship? City key and city key. Those columns you have to mention it. Understand clearly, Swagat?
Yes.
Is it clear or not?
Yes, Vijay. Now it's clear.
So from dim location table, I want to get the location key column into dim location city. So I'm selecting dim location city dataset in data tab. In that I'm applying a lookup value function. In the lookup value function, what column I want to get it, that column I need to mention it here. What is the common column between the data set while you are providing a relationship? See here, when you mouse over to that particular line, what is the common column you are taken, that it is highlighted here, city key and city key. Okay, so that we can call it as common column. Even in the merge queries also, by after taking common columns only, merge queries will happen or not? Merge queries will happen or not in transform
Yes.
data?
Yes.
Same here also, common columns must and should be there. What is that? Location here.
Location key.
I think city key. Okay. City key. City key here. See. So city key means which data set column, common column first you have to mention. Okay, you have to mention first from dim location. In dim location table, what is the common column is there? First you have to mention that particular related here. Don't mention other data set related common column. That means here you have to mention a common column. That common column must and should be first in this table. You have to mention that common column. Okay, that means city key in dim location city key, first you have to mention it, comma. After that, what is the other table related city key? Dim location city key, you have to mention it. Understand clearly or not? See the common columns, just you need to mention it here. The common columns, how you need to mention, which table you are getting a column, location key column you are getting from which table it is, from that table itself, common column you have to mention it here first, and after that dim location city common column you have to mention it. Okay, then see now. Why multiple values? Area location key. State. I want to get the state code. Okay, see the values are getting like this. Okay, don't worry, tomorrow I will explain you once again what is lookup value and everything. Okay, so like this lookup value and related function, these two functions are, if you want to get the column from another data set, we have to use these two functions, either lookup a related value or lookup value. Okay, tomorrow once again I will explain you about the lookup value. We'll see. Understand? Any doubts, Swagat? Okay. Maybe you are confusing. Tomorrow I will explain you clearly.